All right, welcome back to the Kings of Opinion, episode 51. Ernie's back in action and on the screen with me today, so I'm feeling great.
How you doing?
There you go. He's ready to go. He's got his laptop out. I don't know if you can see it, but he's ready to make moves. He's actually looking up Verizon stuff right now. I don't know what that's about. But we wish the Wanderer well. He's still a little bit under the weather, so hopefully he gets better soon. We can see him back here same time next week. I don't really have a rant this week. It was a good Easter weekend. I just want to get right into the exciting stuff that happened over the weekend. The Yankees are 4-0.
Hallelujah.
I know. It couldn't ask for a better script this weekend. I think the only thing that would have been better is if they crushed the Houston Astros. But the way they played this weekend, coming from behind,
I almost like that better.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. I kind of like this one better because it shows that they have a little bit of grit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, right out the gate, it was a big swing game. Thursday, that play at the plate, that was insane. And it wasn't the best throw. It was a great throw, don't get me wrong. It was a little up the line, but both guys had to do something to make that out. The good throw, and then Trevino diving and just
perfect tag.
Yeah, and it was so close. As many times as I looked, I almost was he hit him in the head. Then he hit him in the shoulder, and then he hit him in the side. I don't know, still don't know where he hit him, but he did. He was out. It wasn't. I almost for a second thought it's gonna get overturned. Here we go. The same old Yankees, the bad luck with these Astros. Everything goes their way, and he was out, and we won that first game, and then it snowballed. They won the next two games the same way, just coming back and fighting hard.
And I think that was the big thing, them having to fight back and come back each time. So, that's going to be a big boost for them, I think.
Yeah, and
it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I think it's going to carry for almost the entire season. You like the good start, and a lot of guys, Soto, Verdugo, and Cabrera had really impactful weekends.
Especially against that team. And in Houston.
Of course, yeah. And for it to be in Houston, you know what's the funny thing, too, is I don't know if it was on our Ocean City chat, but someone sent out a picture of the Yankees already clinched a tiebreaker against the Houston Astros. I was dying when I saw that. Let's just hope it keeps going. Tonight they play against the Diamondbacks, who were in the World Series last year, so they're not going to be easy to beat either. And it's a little bit of a trip, to go over there still.
Yeah, and it's what they say? It's the first time in 20 years that they started 4-0.
Yeah, I think it's longer than that.
20 years.
You saw it?
I think 2003.
Okay. I think that was 3-0. I think 4-0 was even further.
4-0.
Yeah?
Definitely 4-0.
Okay.
I just saw it earlier.
And then there's something else that happened not since that same year. It was one of our rookie pitchers pitched a 3-pitch inning. That hasn't happened in 20 years. So the same thing. So
and then I just saw something which is even maybe the most delightful thing to see is that the Yankee bullpen is the only team in baseball so far already this year that hasn't given up
a run. Yeah, that's pretty crazy too. But I was saying that before the season. I'm not really worried about their bullpen. For whatever reason, Cashman and Boone know how to figure out the bullpen with these new guys that they get in here that they might only be good for a year or two. They bring them in, then they let them go, or whatever. I'm not really worried about their bullpen. It's really, to me, it's really just going to be the starting pitching.
Yeah. I was really pleased with Stroman. I thought that he...
I'm glad he didn't start the season off. If he needed to be on that schedule for whatever reason, or, they was said that Boone didn't even ask him to start the opening game. Whatever that is, it worked out well for us. He pitched great. For the most part, all the starting pitchers pitched pretty good. Nestor had a little bump in the road in the first inning or two, but after that, he sat down, I think it was 11 or 12 out of 13 batters.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of things that we were hoping to happen happened to start the season.
Right, so far, so good.
And, you couldn't ask for anything more, I don't think. And hopefully it's just, like you said, snowballs throughout the season and just keep it going.
Yeah, I just want to see a whole bunch of wins all year. No losing streaks.
There was really no negatives to take out of this weekend.
No. A couple of the guys I would like to see hit a little bit more, but this is another thing that I hate too. I couldn't watch the Friday night game because it was on Apple TV, and I guess that could have been my rant, but I just decided to ignore it because I really hate trying to find these Yankee games sometimes on different days. Like you have the Tuesday Prime game, the Friday Amazon Apple game, and then Peacock on a Sunday morning. Like it's not football. It's annoying. Like I'm trying to. The game's on every day. It's not like once a week where the Jets are going to be on Peacock in the morning or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking around and I'm like, damn, we can't find this game. I'm watching on my phone at the bar because I was in Jersey. And you can only watch so much because then all of a sudden you're driving home or you're doing this and the game's still on. So I was listening to most of it, and other than that, like there was a couple guys like Judge is off to a little bit of a slow start. Gleyber Torres too. I know Giancarlo Stanton. I think he hit a home run over the weekend. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but other than that, he didn't really do much either.
Right.
They need to get going, which I'm not worried about. Like Judge and Gleyber at least for right now. I think Gleyber. I don't know if he should be the leadoff hitter. I think he was doing good with his pitch selections. He just wasn't getting the hits. Like every time I saw him up, he was getting into 3-2 counts, which is good because he normally doesn't. And I don't know. This might be. I'm gonna call it the Soto effect. Like all these guys, all of a sudden that are strikeout monsters, they still might be striking out, but they're working the pitcher, which is they've never did before in their young careers. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a problem. But like you said, it's not really a negative yet. You got to understand, you're 4-0 in 4 games to open the season. You're really not going
way too many positives so far. It's
Agreed.
just like everything's going right. And I mean, it looked scary that first game, right? Because Soto at one point was hunched over, and I said, "Oh boy, here we go." And then Torres, I thought for sure broke his thumb on that.
Yeah.
That hit by pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know how he played the next day, but he played.
And then Rizzo got hit too. Like I think it was the forearm, but he went down to the ground. And I think they made it worse than it was, obviously. Yeah. But there was a couple moments scared the shit out of you. Like I said, I'm glad they came out of that weekend relatively healthy, knock on wood.
I mean, Cabrera, obviously.
He's a beast.
Looked amazing. Volpe looked very good.
Yeah, he got some kind of stomach virus, so he didn't even play yesterday.
Yeah, right. But on Saturday night he crushed one.
Yeah, and he had a higher on base plus slugging percentage than Soto, and they're all praising Soto right now.
Yeah.
And already the guys on the radio are getting sick of it, like, oh, it's Soto.
I mean, hey, he had that aura behind him, and it shined through this first weekend. I mean,
and you know what? I can't listen. I don't know if he did it anywhere else with it because he was younger with the Nationals, and then he went to the Padres, and there was a bunch of superstars there. So maybe they didn't really follow his lead. But the Yankees are kind of lucky right now. I'm not even going to talk about him next year, but to have this guy be 25 years old by the end of the year, be 26, and being able to, I don't want to say mentor, but just the fact of his presence being there. If these guys are young and really are trying to take it seriously and want to emulate him in one way or a bunch of ways, that's great in itself. Because even if we wind up losing him, if these guys wind up becoming better for it, he served his purpose.
And I mean, his body language to me at least showed that he's just completely jacked about being here. So
yeah,
that makes me feel really good. I mean, just the way he's looking at the pitcher and banging his leg after a pitch and shaking his head.
Yeah, he looks excited.
This fucking guy is.
And Judge is feeding off him too.
Yeah,
people were talking.
It's contagious. It's contagious.
It's great.
That kind of attitude is contagious.
And I hope that stays the course the whole year, and he really does enjoy it here. And it's just almost like a foregone conclusion that he's going to stay.
Yeah.
The only problem that people were saying, and I don't agree with it personally, but they were saying Judge, he's the captain, so he's the number one. But the way Soto's taking off right now, if he keeps going, if you see him in Arizona and he's pretty much the same as he was in Houston, and then he gets ready to come home on Friday, the place is going to explode for him on Friday. Yeah.
And listen, there was that. I remember seeing that one story at some point over the weekend where apparently Boone spoke to Soto and said, "Dude, don't feel like you have to." Walk on eggshells because you're the new guy. He says, be you. Don't worry about anybody else.
Yeah. That's well. Hopefully that sinks in and he does that, because the only thing I guess people would be worried about is like Judge and him would have to share the spotlight.
And you know, that's the good thing too about a guy like Judge. I don't think that bothers him.
No, I don't think it. That's I'm on your side of the fence with that. Like, I don't think he really cares. I don't even think he cares that he's the captain either. Like, he cares, but like it's just a title for him. Like, I don't see him being like, I'm the captain, do this and do that. You know what I mean? Like, I see him just being like almost like a Jeter type, like keep guys in check for the most part with, you know, their behavior stuff for the most part. Like, if it's bad, but if it's in a good way, like I don't mind these guys showing emotions. Like Verdugo the other day was going nuts on yesterday after he made the sliding catch when it was still a tight game, and that was a back and forth game. Like, the Yankees took the lead first, but then the Astros came right back, and the Astros are a good team. Like, I looked at them up and down that lineup.
Oh yeah,
they've
been to what, 7 straight ALCS?
Yeah, I think it's 6. But either which way, you're right. Like, but they replace guys, and then the other guys step in, and they're great hitters. Like, they're tough outs all the time. So to me, that's what was really impressive about our pitching staff. Like, they got into a little bit of trouble, but they were always able to get out of it.
Yeah.
And if they could keep doing that consistently, like, listen, are we going to blow a couple games here and there? It's a long season, absolutely. I'm not naive to that. But if you could just keep these 3-4 game losing streaks out for this entire season, the Yankees are going to have a great year.
Even Rodon got out of a couple of tight jams and was so jacked up. It was like,
yeah, and we have a lot of those guys now that get jacked up. I like to see that fire and intensity. I don't mind that. On the field, great. Just don't bring it into the clubhouse like negatively, like you're fighting with each other and stuff, which I don't think is an issue. Like, Judge is probably perfect for that, to like kill all that kind of stuff. Anyway.
And that's where a guy like Rizzo pays dividends too, right?
And I can't wait till we get DJ LeMahieu back, man. Like, I'm upset that he's out already. I don't know how long, but Cabrera, at least for the weekend.
As long as Cabrera is doing what he's doing, who cares?
Well, I just hope he keep it up. Like, I've never seen him hit like this before. Right. He's hitting like Soto right now. He's got like a 500 batting average. Yeah. It's insane. Every time he's getting a hit. And that's all I need you to do. I don't need you to hit a home run. He hit a home run too, I think maybe 2 of them. I don't need you to do that. Just get on base, knock in a couple guys when you can. Good. Oh, and what I was really impressed with is, and we haven't been able to do this for years, is the situational hitting was fantastic. We had a guy on third with less than 2 outs, sacrifice fly. You know, that's how you kill a team. Just get those runs that you're supposed to get in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you tack on when you get lucky and you hit a bomb or whatever.
Obviously we know what happened last year happened, but I didn't realize when it came to the offensive statistics how actually bad they were.
Yeah.
They showed on one of the games the stat, and they were like 29th, 28th, 30th in like every category.
Yeah, they were bad. Well, they lost Judge for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Once they lost him, they were terrible.
Yeah.
They went right out of everything. And then he came back and he started doing his thing again, but they still weren't winning like as much as they should have been last year. But their main culprit is like they had no contact hitters. They were striking out left and right. Now you look at this lineup and you like what you see from Volpe's second year. Like, hopefully, knock on wood, there's no sophomore slump. You know what I mean?
And this is where I think the personality of these new guys is what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Because I think like last year you were lacking those personalities and you got what you got. Whereas this year already look at the start that they're off to. I think that those personalities really lighten the mood, make things,
It's not just the personalities too. It's the way they go about playing baseball too. Like those 2 guys in particular, Verdugo and Soto, they're gamers and they're contact hitters and they're lefties. You know what I mean? So like, it's been since the beginning of time, since the Yankees were built, you need lefty power in that lineup.
Especially at Yankee Stadium.
That's exactly the point. So now you have that. And on top of that, they're contact hitters. They're guys that put the bat on the ball, make the guys make the plays or make the mistakes. Like, you're not going to strike out. Like Verdugo, I don't even think he hit super well, but when there were guys in scoring position, he put the ball in play, got the sacrifice fly, got a run on the board. You don't know what that does for a pitcher says, okay, I got a 1-0 lead. Okay, all right, I'll just go out there and get 3 outs. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, no, he almost had like 5 or 6 different amazing catches in the outfield too.
well, yeah, he's great defensively, and like look at that outfield, and then I.
Yeah, that's like the hardest left field in baseball, they say.
Yeah, and he's great. So I can't imagine what he's going to be in Yankee Stadium when you get there. And I'll tell you this much right now: Carlos Stanton looks lean, like we were talking about him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
If he can return somewhat to form of how he did, there will not be a better trio in baseball than Soto, Judge, and Stanton. Those guys alone could out-hit half more home runs than half the MLB.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I really think Soto's going to hit like a good 40 or so home runs, especially once he gets to Yankee Stadium. I'm actually guaranteeing he hits one on Friday. There's no way he does it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even know who
I
they're
heard
playing.
somebody saying, I hope he just doesn't turn into Chichero where he falls in love with that left field fence and trying to hit it, or the right field fence and trying to hit it over that every game.
I could see why they would make that comparison, but he's even better than Chichero. Yeah.
He's too good of a fielder.
No. You know, and like he sprays the ball all over the place, but what's good about Yankee Stadium is the only place it's really, really deep is that center field. Like left center to right center, it's deep. So if he flicks the wrist to even left field, it's only 318.
And what amazes me every time is that they talk about his age. The fact that he's only 25.
Right.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, no.
He still hasn't hit his prime.
No, like, well, yeah, he's like 2 years supposedly away from his prime, which is crazy. You know, and whether he wanted to come here or not, like you said, I agree with you. He really looks like he's enjoying it over here. But it was also a savvy business when you think about it. Like, where's the one place you could go where if you're confident in your ability and you know you're going to have a good year, you could go somewhere and have an even better year because of, like, the dimensions of the ballpark.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Because he's a lefty, bro. All you got to do is, if he pulls the ball, that thing's gone. Gone. And it'll be like these line drive laser beams, like what Stanton does on the other side. And it's just going to be right over the wall. Then he's going to hit some bombs. It's going to be crazy.
I don't care what anybody says. Playing for the Yankees and playing for the Padres, 2 different sides of the spectrum.
Oh, agreed. But it's wild to me. Like, it couldn't have been a better weekend if you're a Yankees fan.
No, it couldn't.
You know? And then you go, it's like a tale of two cities, right? So now you go across town to our baby brothers, right? And I don't know if you saw last week's show, but we were talking about the Mets, me and Steve, for a while. And we got a little bit crazy with the Mets. But I thought the Mets, once they signed J.D. Martinez, even though he's not up here yet, so, like, you got to give him a week to get in, I guess, his, the batting, controlled a little bit more and, like, get a little rhythm going. But I think the Mets are going to be pretty decent this year. Like, they're going to hover right around, if they can make it to the All-Star break, like 500, I think Stevie Cohen is going to make a few moves to bolster up his team. And I think they can make a run at a playoff bid, but the way they were playing this weekend, it was crazy. Like I was talking to Steve right before I got here. I actually messed up because I was supposed to text him when we got on the show because he was going to call your phone, and talk about the Mets. But like that guy Hoskins, I don't know if you saw any of the Mets. Like he was abusing the Mets, and then they go to throw at him, and they miss.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I watched that game because my kids were at the game, so I was watching. But yeah, he destroyed them. But
and he used to be on the Phillies, so he's, he knows all about the Mets. And I don't know, they looked flat right out of the gate. Like the first game,
it's like the complete opposite. They looked dead. There was no spark at all anywhere on that team. Whereas the Yankees this weekend was the complete opposite. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not looking good. And now I heard on the way home from work that I think McGill has got some issues.
Oh, he's hurt?
Yeah.
No way. Oh, and you know what's crazy too? Getting back to the Yankees, they traded for this guy from the Marlins. We gave up just basically our third string catcher. What is it, Birdie or something like that? Yeah, I think it's Birdie. He's from the...
Birdie's
No, it's Birdie, Berti. I thought it was.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah,
right.
but he's a third baseman, but he's like our new IKF now. Like he plays all over the place. He plays the entire infield. and the corners in the outfield. And he made some sick plays yesterday. He was playing yesterday. I don't know. I think he even got a hit too, an RBI single. But he was making some. The ones I saw on the highlights, he was making some sick plays.
Oh, so that's the guy that played yesterday already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Because don't they have another guy on the team with the name Birdie?
No, absolutely not.
Who's the guy that played on?
Are you talking about Greg Bird? That was years ago?
No. Guy that played this weekend. I gotta check it out.
For the Yankees?
Yeah, somebody that I had never heard of. He played when Torres took himself out of the game.
That might have been the same guy.
No, but didn't they just trade for this guy on Saturday?
No, they traded for him right before the season started. Last week. Yeah, it might have been the same guy. I just told you he plays all over the infield.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah. And then we also made another trade for, I think it's a pitcher. I'm trying to look for him right now.
That's what I'm thinking about. That happened on Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. I have no idea who it is. I saw the name it come up on my notifications, but I don't know. I hope he's
That's
good.
what I was thinking about.
Oh, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
Jake Cousins.
From where?
Oh, no. That was yesterday. Acquired right-hand pitcher Jake Cousins from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for cash. This is who I'm thinking about. Oh, no, they optioned.
Oh, Beater.
Yeah.
Just to the minors, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's an up-and-coming, too. He looked good in spring training. I saw him pitch a few times. He had some gas going. But, so everything.
Yeah, so this was just on... Birdie was on the...
No,
See, I was right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Selected contract, okay.
Right-handed pitcher Nick Birdie.
This is the guy I'm talking about.
John Birdie.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, the hell. They got two guys with the same name, different spelling. Confusing the hell out of us.
Yeah, what are you going to do? But all I'm telling you is that shortstop third baseman dude, he looked good. And you know what they're saying about that guy, too? He's a pesky little hitter, too.
Yeah.
Like, he might not be the best. Like, I'd like to look at his stats after we're done. They're not saying he's like, the next DJ LeMahieu, but like he's a hard out to get. Like but it speaks to what Cashman's doing. He's another guy that makes contact and works the count. Like, I love guys like this. Like, we need more of these guys. I want everyone to be like this. Right. You're gonna have your strikeouts. You're gonna have your slumps. It's fine. That's why I can't wait to get DJ LeMahieu back. Like, I hope when he comes back, he's just fully healthy. We don't need him to be the DJ of like the first half of last year and the year before. I want the DJ from the second half of last year. I don't need you to hit 340 anymore. Just be around 300. 290, 310. Flirt with that 300 all year. I'm happy with that because the home runs and the RBIs are all going to come, and we're going to be all good in Yankee land. Like, this will be a really nice year to go watch baseball games, like last minute, watch them on TV, go out, whatever, and enjoy these games. Unlike the Mets, like, they got to pick it up. Like, they're playing today, too, and I think in a few minutes, I don't remember who they're playing, but they have to, they're playing Detroit. So, Detroit's 3-0 right now. So, they're due for a loss. And, they got to get on the winning track, Get a win in the column, as you say, Otherwise, it's going to be a long year for them. And you're going to see guys get traded. The funny thing about the Mets is they have almost a similar lineup to the Yankees. They got a lot of talent on that lineup. They just, I don't know. They just don't do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they have Lindor, McNeil, Nimmo, Alonso, Alvarez. They're gonna have JD Martinez at some point in the next couple of days. Like, it's a good, solid lineup. I don't know why they can't score. I don't wish bad for them. We laugh and poke fun at the Mets because we're Yankee fans when Steve acts up and says, let's go, they're the best thing since sliced bread.
And in all honesty, man, I want again because I was watching the game with my kids there. That whole slide thing with McNeil. First of all, I like McNeil. I think he's would be the perfect person on the Yankees. He fits that profile perfectly. But I think that slide was bullshit, man. First of all, that whole rule that you're not allowed to slide past the bag. This guy clearly slid past the bag And then one thing that I don't understand is like nobody made mention of it is you watch the slide. After the slide, you can see he turned his body into McNeil's leg.
Yeah.
Like you did that intentionally.
Of course. And they didn't call him out. You
No.
know? Yeah.
No.
Which is even crazier.
And I think that McNeil had every right to be as upset as he was.
Yeah, but you know what his problem is? At least what I was hearing is he cries about everything.
Yeah,
so
right.
when you're a guy that cries about everything,
Yeah, right.
what do you think's going to happen?
Right.
You know? Well, like if Judge says
The
something.
boy that cries wolf, right?
Right, yeah. You know what
that
I mean?
was a bullshit slide all around.
Yeah, no, it totally was. I mean, it's just the Mets' luck right now, the way that things are going for them. But they have to turn it around, you know. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season for them.
It could fall apart fast.
Yeah, just like we just said with the Yankees, like they're going to rise and keep going. Hopefully, like I don't even want them. Well, I really do want them to sweep the Diamondbacks because we still owe them for 0-1. But I would like them to start the season off 7-0. But if not, I want to be 6-1 off this trip. It's a great start. Go right into Yankee opening day, and I don't care where they lose or win that game. Like lose that game in this 3-day set.
So it's three games against the Diamondbacks.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're off Thursday, and then the home opener is on Friday early afternoon.
Against
shit.
Is it the Marlins?
No. Toronto.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's a big series too.
Yeah,
And always. Like whenever you play the East, and right now Toronto's 2-2. So, and this is going to be going on for a while. Like, you know, we're going to be talking a lot about this stuff, and that's the hard to me. I mean, Steve always argue about this, but he's always wrong. To me, the AL East is the hardest division in baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I don't care how many world championships come out of the NL East, whatever. You know, because he always has that argument. It's almost like saying the Yankees won 27 championships. Like, we get it. You know, the NL East has some luck where they win the World Series. That doesn't make them the hardest division. Anyone could win the World Series.
And how many World Series does the NL East have?
Well, in the last, 4 or 5 years, they won, 2 or 3 or something like that. Because you had the Nationals, you had the Braves, and I think you had someone else. It wasn't the Phillies. Maybe you had... maybe it was just 2. I don't know. There was a bunch, you know what I mean? And he's like, 2 of the teams always make the playoffs. And he was like, last year we had 3 teams make the playoffs. You know what I mean? You know, they didn't win the World Series, but to me, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you look at everybody in the AL East, they're all could be, if not over 500.
For sure.
Every single team.
The only one that's probably not going to be is Boston.
Right. But even them.
And who even knows?
Right, that's what I was going to say. Even them, you never know.
Right.
You know, because no one thought the Orioles were going to win 101 games last year. So, and they should come back down to earth. You know, I just hope the Yankees are so much better than those guys that they just pound the AL East.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just beat up. Because after that, you don't really have to worry about much.
No.
You know what I mean? What do you got to worry about? Everyone in the Central, you should win almost every game against. Like, I think they only play them 6 times or 7 times, depending. So you win 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7.
Yeah, the way that it's set up nowadays, it's all about your division because you play so many.
Right, and then you play
games
a lot of them. You play every team in baseball now. So you play the Dodgers. Okay, they come in. You're playing them 3 games. I think they come to Yankee Stadium. You win 2 out of 3, or even if you lose 2. All right, now you play. You know, night right like they're playing the Diamondbacks. You beat the hell out of them right now. That's it. You're flying high. Keep it going. And I mean the Diamondbacks are 3-1, so they're no schlub either right now. And they were knocking the piss out of the ball over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that. They scored 15 runs one game or something.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what's gonna happen. You know, the Yankees, they're set up in a good spot right now to just keep this rolling and just let it be known that they're gonna be the team to beat this year. You know, so hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, so moving along with the Knicks, right? So the Knicks were on a run a little bit. They came off a West Coast trip where I'm pretty sure they went undefeated. I'm not 100% sure, but they had a great West Coast road trip. And, then they come back down to earth. Once they were off the road trip, I think they were in the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they slipped to the 4th seed. They could have won yesterday and made the 3rd seed. because they're only half a game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, which shows how well they've been playing, even with the guys that are still out, because OG has been out for like at least a week right now.
Yeah, I saw something this morning online that said Josh Hart was quoted as saying he doesn't think that OG or Randall will be back this season.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not good news.
I didn't get a chance to read the article. I saw it, which was kind of surprising that somebody on the team would even say that. But,
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Yep.
And like they played the Spurs. I think it was Friday they played the Spurs. They were supposed to win that game. They lost that game. And then yesterday they had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter against the Thunder, and they lost by 2. And they got screwed in this game because I think there was like 7 seconds left, and Brunson goes up for a layup, and he should have had the N1 call, and he didn't. They didn't give him the call, so they went up 1, and with like I think it was like 4.8 seconds left. You know how like they give it to you at half court pretty much. The guy inbounded, and he took like a quick shot and nailed it. I don't know who the guy was because I don't know. But they were guarding him. He just caught it, turned, fadeaway jumper, hit it. So now we were down by 1, and we wound up losing that game. Where like if he would have got the N1 and hit the free throw, it would have just been a tie game. And then you don't know, you go into overtime. You don't know what happens.
That's the one thing with Randall, right? As good as he's been this year, and as good as he's been for us since he's gotten here, he doesn't get the respect.
Oh, you mean Brunson?
Brunson.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the respect from the refs that most of these guys get.
No,
he gets beat up sometimes, and they don't call anything.
Because he also doesn't play like the acting game, like if you're a soccer player, you know what I mean? Or like if you're LeBron James.
Yeah.
I
didn't realize that they were up by 10 because it was like, what was it, late last week or the beginning of the week last week? At one point there was a game where they were showing the stat that they were like having a 10-point lead in the game. They were like 39-3 this year.
Yeah.
They had the best record in
it was shocking. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Thunder is 52-22. They're a great team, but the Knicks were at home and they had them, and they're a great home team.
Yeah.
And they blew it at the end. And it wasn't just their fault, like the refs didn't help them at all, like you said. Like,
oh yeah, the Thunder are having a great season.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't even realize that until last night when I saw their record. Them and the Denver Nuggets are neck and neck for the number 1 seed. Well, they're actually tied.
Wow.
I don't know, well, half game back. But yeah, it's crazy to me how like Brunson doesn't get that yet. Like it's like they missed the memo. Like he's a superstar now. Yeah. Like he put himself on the map. He put the Knicks on his shoulders.
Yeah, you would think, especially with the season the way it's gone, that he deserves a little respect. But we'll see what happens. We're coming down to the nitty gritty now, right? I think there's 8 games left.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe like 10 or 11, but
no.
It's almost done. Well, they're 44, right, and 30, the Knicks, right? So that's 74. Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah,
there's only 8 games left. So right now, it's kind of wild if you look at it because you got the Bucks that are only 3 games better. You can even get, if you go on a little bit of a run, which that's why these 2 games hurt them, because they'd be 46-28. They'd be a game behind the Bucks right now.
Yeah. And, it comes down to now matchups, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter who you play, you got to beat them all, but it's all coming down to now who you're going to match up with in the
But right now the Knicks would play who, right? They'd play number 5, the Magic, right? 4 plays 5, I would assume.
I think so.
1 plays 8. Yeah, I think that's how that would roll.
Because if they get the 3, they would have been playing the Pacers, I think.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how they match up.
The Magic have done very well against them this year, so.
Oh, that's not good then. So that's tough. But listen, it's the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. So, we'll figure that out moving forward. It's going to be exciting the next couple months, I would like to talk March Madness, but my team's lost, so I don't really care.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like, you don't have any teams left in Paulie's bracket, right? Yeah, no. Any bracket I was in, I'm out already. And the Wonder of all people beat me last week with, I forget, I had Arizona. Whoever played Arizona and beat Arizona straight up. I was pissed.
I think it was Purdue.
No, it wasn't Purdue. It was somebody else. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're moving along. So I wanted to talk about some stuff that I've been watching recently. I don't know if you watched anything crazy?
I gotta mention it because I mean, you might have seen it, and you know, we keep talking about these kicks that we go on with Liam Neeson or whatever.
Right.
And I know I always mention, and we always talk about Jason Statham.
Right.
Movies. So, I saw something online about a movie that he did. I guess it was maybe one of definitely his earlier movie called Crank.
Oh yes.
Oh my God! And then he a couple of years later made a second one called Crank High Voltage.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I watched those two movies this week. Fucking pure bananas.
Yeah, those are
Oh, my God.
that's the movie with Amy Smart in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets charged up doing
Yeah.
all the Chinese people are looking at him.
So funny.
It was great. So this weekend, I saw the Ghostbusters movie, which I've been wanting to see. I got home and I watched it in the movie theater, and I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought it was gonna be dope, and I was so pumped. I was like, I knew the guys are coming back, and this, that, and the other. And then when I talked to my buddy at work about it, because he saw it this weekend too, and as we talked about it, when I first watched it, there was one, like, in the first half of the movie, I think it's like just around 2 hours. So within the first hour, like, I was starting to fade, like, and I'm just like, what is going on? And I was trying to keep my eyes open, and like I'm eating my popcorn or whatever, and like, I'm just like, what is going on, right? And then I finished the movie. I didn't really fall asleep, which was good. And I'm like, all right, it was okay. Like, the action was cool, and then as I'm talking to him today about it, and we're talking about it, I'm like, this movie was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, and it had a huge drop off from last week to this week, and I get it because Kong Godzilla, which hopefully I get to see this weekend or whatever during the week, like, you're gonna take a hit like when that kind of big movie comes up, which is normally why, like, you got to manage these movies accordingly if you want to make money. Like, should have Ghostbusters came out a week before, maybe it should have came out 2 weeks before, so you get 2 weeks of whatever. And from what I'm hearing, Godzilla is awesome, so I can't wait. So I picked wrong. Yeah, I picked wrong, but I wanted to see the movie that came out first. So I saw Ghostbusters, and it had a 70% drop in ticket sales.
Wow.
From week 1 to 2. Now, normally when you have another blockbuster movie come out, you're looking at 40 to 50. So for it to be 70, that means people just were like, I'm not so into it, or the reviews came out and people were just like, nah, not so much. And like, it wasn't overly woke or anything like that. They were just silly things that, when you look at the trailer and they talk about stuff in the trailer, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, all the old ghosts got released, like from like 1, 2, and whatever. And you're like, and even Afterlife, I guess, but you didn't see any of them but the one from the first Ghostbusters and the chick in the library. And you don't even really see the chick, like, remember how she was all like innocent ghost?
Yeah.
And then she freaks out. You just see the freak out ghost. So you're like, all right, cool. But then that was it. They don't do anything with her. You just see her, and then they clip to something else. Like, they don't fight the ghost. And like, they weren't even there. It was almost like they flip to another scene, and then you see that, and they flip to another scene, and whatever. Other than that, you didn't see any other ghosts that were from any other. Like, it would have been dope to see like the Scoleri brothers from the second one, where they were in the what's the chairs called? I can't think of it right now. The execution chairs.
Yep.
Whatever.
Electric chairs.
Thank you, electric chairs. Thank you. And then like, or you see Stay Puft come back, or Vigo, and they could have done it so different. It's almost like they just wrote the movie to just get it out there. Like, they didn't think like how dope it could have been if they went a different direction. Like, you didn't have to show all the ghosts, right, from the old movies, but to me, they only fought 2 ghosts in this entire movie. How do you do that? It's called Ghostbusters, dude.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Like, definitely don't go. Watch it on the Fire Stick, and then I'd like to hear your input.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had suggested it to my son this weekend, and he's like, I was like, let's go to see a movie Saturday. I said, we can go see Ghostbusters. He's like, I don't know. He's like, but if we go, I'd much rather see Dune 2, because he's been wanting to see Dune 2.
Really? That's a lot.
And it didn't work out for him when he was supposed to go see it a couple of weeks ago. So we went to go see Dune 2. And it was surprising, because talking about drop-off, I only ordered the tickets Friday for Saturday afternoon. It was like I think a 3:30 show.
Mm-hmm.
And I ordered them Friday, and the 3 seats I bought were the first 3 seats sold. You select your seats. I was like, what the hell is going on? And it wasn't that full when we went, but it was good. It was very good.
Oh, you liked Dune?
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Really?
As long as it was, I didn't get sleepy. I didn't.
No?
No, it was good.
Really?
And there's definitely going to be a third one. It definitely ended.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it was the complete opposite of Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters didn't end on any kind of cliffhanger. I'm not going to even try to fool around with that. But the way it ended, they could have a third one.
Yeah.
But the way how poorly, like, if they're going to do a third one, they have to rewrite everything. Like, there was too much going on. Like,
You're not going to be batting down the doors to go see it.
no, and like they would have to have a killer trailer, and like I'd have to know that there's a different director, a different writing team, or whatever, because there was just they were too all over the place with stuff. Like, you know how dope it would have been if, like, they took out like 45 minutes of the movie that they actually made. Let's take that out, guys, for a second, and then put in my version where, like, those 45 minutes they fight the old ghosts from the old movies, and like they only had Ecto-1 there, and it was the old car. Like, what if, like, they're in the firehouse and all of a sudden, like, you see, like, oh, you have Stay Puft over here terrorizing the west side, and then you have Vigo on the east side, and all of a sudden they come out and one Ecto-1 goes one way, and then you see Ecto-2 go another way, and you have a mix mash of, like, the old crew and the new crew. Because they had, like, 10 Ghostbusters all of a sudden. And then they had some weird dude, God, I don't know his name. That indie dude that's funny that you see on the commercials in some of these movies. He's pretty funny. I like the dude, actually. He was in Stuber. Did you ever see Stuber with?
Yes.
That dude.
Okay.
He's like some firebender dude or whatever, and they used to catch ghosts back in the day. Stupid. Like, we don't need all that. Just make him like what's his name? Rick Moranis type, and then he always becomes an honorary Ghostbuster, like almost like Wilson did. You know, in the first one, he was like, if it's a paycheck, I'll believe whatever you say. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. Because he was funny, but his whole premise, he was bending fire and, like, I don't know. It was stupid. But, like, think how dope if you had, like, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and, like, Paul Rudd and the Phoebe going one way, and then you had the other guys going the other way, fighting these ghosts. That would have been dope.
Yeah.
You know? And they didn't do that. And why am I thinking of this and you're not? You know, we're big fans of these movies. We grew up with this
Like
stuff.
you said, sometimes it just seems like they just pump out a movie just to pump out a movie.
It's terrible, though, because if you actually take the time to do it right, you'll make a ton of money anyway. Like, the audacity of them thinking, like, we could just slap something together and we're going to make billions of dollars off this movie. I hope they don't. You know what I mean? But you kill a franchise. Because the last movie was great. Afterlife was great. You know? And they had just a nice story. They brought back the old ghost from the first one. I forget.
Yeah, you
the name.
definitely had high expectations for this.
Right, of course, and that it killed it. You know, like they should take a page out of like some of these good writing and good movies. Like, just do it right. You know, they had almost had the same storyline from the first one for the second one. Like the girl Phoebe, no one liked her. No one like they ostracized her a little bit. Same kind of thing. But then at the end, she saves the day again. Like, let someone else save the day. It doesn't have to be this. Why are we being lazy? Come on. Hollywood's getting so lazy recently, like these movies. Like, I don't even want to pay them. I go to the movie for free, but, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, let's hope Godzilla doesn't disappoint.
I can't wait. I got to watch that, man. It's going to be great, I hope. It did well this weekend. It was the third highest grossing movie so far this year for the first weekend.
Oh, really?
Sure was. Oh. So, yeah. So I finished the show Severance. Did you ever see that on Apple TV?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to warn you. So now I can't really talk about it, but I will say this.
Yeah, but how are you watching Severance on Apple TV, but then you said you couldn't watch the Yankee game?
Because I was watching on my phone when I work out.
Oh.
Like I was out that day,
Gotcha.
and like when you're out at the bar, they don't have Apple TV.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I watched Severance. It's 9 episodes. It starts off a little quirky. The end is bananas to me. So like you have to fight a little bit to get to the end because like it makes you think about what's going on. You should watch it. I think you would really like it. And it's quick. 9 episodes. They're like 50 minutes episodes each. You could probably crush it in a week. You know what I mean? But overall good show. And apparently the second season's coming up. So I'm really excited for that because it's all about like whatever you do at work, you don't know about when you're home. Like they put a chip in your brain and you're like 2 different people. So like when you get into the building and get in the elevator of work, it switches you to like almost like, for lack of a better word, like work mode. And all you know is once you switch over is work stuff. You don't know anything about your outside life, which is like a crazy concept if you think about it. Like imagine going to work and not knowing what you do at work.
Is this the show with the brother from Step Brothers?
Yes. Yes.
I tried watching that and I couldn't get through the first episode.
Really?
No.
Oh man.
Oh God! I'm talking about like when this first came out, when the show just came out. Yeah, I struggled through the first episode.
Really?
I never went back to it.
Huh. I'll be honest with you. I could see why you couldn't get past the first episode, but if you did, I think you'd like it because each episode builds, and the first episode you're like, "What the f is going on here?"
Right.
But once you get past that first episode, you start to understand what's going on.
Makes sense.
And then you see like how people start to fight it and you see the different aspects of it. And that's when it got crazy. Like that's why season 2, I hope is really crazy because they start by the end of season 1, they start to break everything down and they start figuring stuff out. And that's when it gets wild. So it's a good one. What else did I see? Oh my God. Disney Plus. The X-Men 97. I don't know if you grew up watching that because you're a little bit older than me. Not by much, but a little bit. But the first 3 episodes of that animation X-Men cartoon is probably the best thing Disney has done since, Marvel-wise, since Spider-Man No Way Home.
Really?
Bro, it's so good.
Wow.
You know, I don't know if you're into cartoon, like, shows or whatever, but if you are, I would suggest doing one of 2 things because it basically picks up where the old show when I was a kid left off. So if you've never seen it, go watch the old show. It's not crazy, like they're half-hour episodes, and it's not crazy like I'm rewatching it because once I saw those 3 episodes, I'm like, I gotta go back and watch the old stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I have to because I don't remember what happened. I just remember watching them all on Saturday mornings at like 9 o'clock with like the Spider-Man, the X-Men, and all that other stuff. And I'm almost done with it already. And that was like a week and a half ago. Like when we're done with this show, I'm watching the rest of the X-Men.
Wow.
And they're not a lot.
Where are you watching it from?
Disney Plus.
Oh, they have all the
all of it on Disney Plus. I think it's like 4 or 5 seasons, and like the first 2 seasons are like 10 or 13 episodes. Then the next 2 are like they have like 20, and then the last one's like 10. But it picks up right where it lets off. And what they did to these first 3 episodes is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, at least Disney did something right for once, you know what I mean? It was so good. But, yeah, that's all. I think that's pretty much all I watched so far. Oh, yeah, no, you know what? I watched a little bit something else. So, are you into wrestling or ever was into wrestling?
Not really.
But you love documentaries, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have something for you also to watch whenever you have time. It's called Dark Side of the Ring and WWE Legends. There's 4 seasons of each. They're 50-minute episodes, and there's like no more than 10 each season around, I think. But I grew up a wrestling fan with my dad. My dad still to this day watches wrestling, so he's a nut and a kook. But I started watching it a little bit at work. And they're really good. Like, some of these guys had some hard times.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the guy, Jake the Snake Roberts?
Yeah.
Like, if I ever see this guy, and if you ever watching this, yo, we need to meet up because I need to give you a hug, bro. That show on, it's Dark Side of the Ring, bro, it is wild. Like he was beat on, sexually abused. His whole family. His brother was like left out for adoption. Like his father was an animal. Like
I don't know if he's still alive.
who?
Jake the
He's
Snake.
still alive.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, 100%. And he's doing good. He's been sober. Like, he was big into drugs when he was doing, like, he was all messed up. But the guy, Diamond Dallas Page, I don't know if you know who he is. Bro, he saved his life.
Yes,
dude,
yeah.
literally.
He saved a lot of these guys' life.
Lot.
Razor Ramon.
Yeah, well, he just recently died.
Yeah.
But yeah. But, like, he went into this whole, well, that's another thing, too. Like, they did a Legends on him, too. And they went on all into this, like, he had another rough life, too. Like, he basically murdered a guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was tough and it was eating at him.
Did you ever watch the movie that I
No,
mentioned?
the Iron Claw?
Iron Claw?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. And did you tell your dad about it? If your
I
dad's
did.
that big?
I did.
And he hasn't seen it either?
No, because he didn't go to the movies to go see it. So, like, now he's got to wait till it's online, so like one of the streaming services.
Where did I see? Isn't it a Netflix thing?
No, I don't know. It's not. It was in the movie theater.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it is anymore because I think it came out in December, didn't it? Or something, January? But whatever. It's out now. I'm waiting for it to hit streaming and then I'm going to watch it. Because on the Dark Side of the Ring, those guys have an episode. So every episode is a different scandal / like story of somebody. Like, I've only watched 3 episodes so far. I watched the Jake the Snake Roberts, the one with Bret the Hitman Hart. They call it the Montreal Screwjob. That was insane. They both were. But Jake the Snake so far is the best episode I watched. I'm bouncing around from season to season. Like, I'm not watching it in order. I'm watching what interests me. And then I watched season 1 was the Montreal Screwjob, and then Bruiser Brody, where the guy was he was murdered in a wrestling arena in Puerto Rico. And the guy that murdered him was another wrestler that got off on self-defense. That was a crazy episode too. And he was a beast. He was like almost 7 feet tall, 350 pounds. Guy got stabbed up and everything, and he died in the hospital over there. That's good. And the one episode I'm halfway through right now is WWE one where like they take a flight from England back here and they go bananas on this plane because all they have is they're all by themselves. They got like a luxury plane, a big one, like a 757, and they go bananas on it. So I'm in the middle of that one right now. I literally just started watching it today. But those shows, like, if you ever have nothing to watch and you're like, should I watch the 20th Liam Neeson movie or whatever, or like Jason Statham movie or Steven Seagal or whatever, like, put that in the back burner and watch these shows because they're bananas. So
interesting.
Yeah, they were really good. And like I said, I don't even like wrestling anymore, but they're good because a lot of these things took place when I was watching.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to know, like, 20, 30 years later, like, oh, these guys
went through all that.
Went through hell, dude. Went through hell, some of them. And it was a big cost on their lives. Like, a lot of them are dead now, obviously, and some of them are alive to tell some of these tales. But they even look banged up. Like, it took a toll. Like, only a few of them, like, get away and live a healthy life.
That's why people get so offended when they say it's fake. And
it's scripted, but you still have to be physically fit,
and you're still getting the shit beat out of you, obviously.
100%.
And it's clear that these guys are not only physically beat up, but mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, a lot of them do, like, and it's not even a lot of them do illegal drugs. So obviously some of them do, but that's like almost like any job, right? Like a lot of them people do. It was really more prescription drugs. That's where they like hit the wall at, and that's what causes them to have issues. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much what I've been watching so far. A lot of interesting stuff. You got any music you want to tell the people about? No, I'm just kidding.
If it's not on the fan, then I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the one with the Wanderer's job, so hopefully he'll get back to us next week with some of that stuff. So that'll pretty much do it for this week, folks. Hope you enjoy all the MLB that's going to be on the next week. Go Yankees.
Go Yankees.
And go Mets too. Let's see you get in the win column today, guys, But more importantly, go Yankees because they're number 1. And that's us. We're signing out. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Care.
Later.